Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Really glad to have you guys here. Now, investigative reporting, accurate reporting, not fear-mongering, like there's channels here on YouTube that fear-monger over this disease called Ebola. That's because it's a very frightening disease. But this channel, I'm going to be covering right here the Ebola outbreak that's occurring right now in real time in the central part of Africa, in a country called the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a country that used to be known as Zaire. And what I'm going to do is I'll be putting in the hard work, doing the research involved to give accurate reporting on this issue of this disease. Let's face it, diseases want to spread. This disease wants to spread. The World Health Organization is in the area doing the best that they can to try to contain this disease. This is going to be an ongoing situation that's developing. This disease is not going to be contained overnight. In fact, it could actually take years to fully contain this disease. And during this period in time, it's going to be an effort. I'm going to just put it that way, an effort. So let's get right into it. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at what we're dealing with. The first thing I want to take a look at is the Ebola virus disease itself. What is it? Well, the Ebola virus disease is known as a hemorrhagic type fever. Basically, it's a virus, and in its final stages, it makes you hemorrhage or bleed. And this is why it's so deadly, is because of the hemorrhaging, vomiting, diarrhea, decreased function of the liver and kidneys. And it says at the time of getting far into this, like in the final stages of it, the people begin to bleed both internally and externally. The disease has a high risk of death, killing between 25 and 90% of those infected, and with an average of about 50%. And generally they die because of low blood pressure from fluid loss. This is what kills them. So now that we know what the disease is, where is this disease right now? Well, it's in a place called the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And if we take a look here, if we go up on this site here, we can see where the Congo is. Boy, that's a long ways down there. Okay, let's get back up here. Here we go. Okay, it's right here. Over here, it's in the center of that green area right there. Let me focus the chart in so you can see a little bit better. And we can see where the Congo is. It's this green country right here in the center of Africa. Now, you know, 78 million people live in the Congo. They got a ongoing war situation, and this is what's making it so difficult to actually fight this disease. The disease, not long ago, has passed 2,000 people that actually have it. Let me move down to where I was. Quite a ways down on this page, wasn't I? So what we see is an upsurge in violence in this area. It says, according to Jan England, President Secretary General of the Norwegian Refugee Council, the situation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo has become much worse in 2016 and 2017. It is a major moral and humanitarian challenge. So, forget about Ebola. If Ebola was not in the situation, if it was not part of this, just on its own, the Congo, with its 78 million people, and in a state of war, and upsurges in violence, that it represents a humanitarian challenge. The humanitarian challenge is on the scale compared to the wars in Syria and in Yemen. So what we have is we have a massive amount of chaos and a humanitarian challenge in the area, and now all of a sudden we have a disease that's breaking out in the area that spreads rapidly through the population. This is what the World Health Organization is actually up against. So it's going to be hard to squash this disease and stop it in this region because of the humanitarian crisis that this region represents. It says there are also ethnic and cultural rivalries at play, as well as religious motives and a political crisis with postponed elections, and so on. So we have this situation. It's not going to cure itself. It says fierce fighting has erupted, in the country between government forces and powerful local warlords. And so they have tribal conflicts in the region too. A tribal conflict erupted in 2016-17 in December of 2018. And, we got thousands of people dying there. It's just a bad situation overall in that country. And then we have the disease breaking out there. So what's happening today with the disease, and what can I update you on? Right today, there's a country that's right next door called Uganda. And the disease now has spread from the Democratic Republic of the Congo to Uganda. Uganda confirms the first Ebola case outside the outbreak in the Congo. A child in Uganda has tested positive for Ebola in what is the first cross-border case of the deadly virus. That's in this epidemic, I want to state. In this particular epidemic, this is the first cross-border case of the deadly virus. A child in Uganda has tested positive for Ebola in the first cross-border case of the deadly virus since an outbreak started in the neighboring Congo last year. Uganda's health ministry said late Tuesday in a blow to efforts by health workers who for months sought to prevent contamination across the heavily traveled frontier. The 5-year-old Congolese boy has been isolated with family members at a hospital in Western District near Congo border. Ugandan Health Minister Jane, I'll just quote her last name. I can't pronounce her second name. I see the first part's Ace. Essing or something, Jane, told reporters 2 family members were being tested for Ebola after developing symptoms with results expected on Wednesday. So let's focus on that for a minute. We got the 5-year-old Congolese boy here who has been isolated with family members at a hospital. What we notice here is 2 of the family members are being tested for Ebola after developing symptoms. So they've got symptoms. It's very likely that they could very possibly, I'm not going to say they do, but very possibly, because why else would they develop symptoms? And they were probably in close contact because they're family members. The results of the test, though, we'll have to wait, because even though they've developed symptoms, right, and even though they're being tested, right, and even though they're family members who probably brought the boy to the hospital, and even though they're being held in isolation, the results won't be expected until Wednesday. So it's not going to be official until Wednesday. It says the announcement puts new pressure on the World Health Organization to declare the Ebola outbreak, the second deadliest in history, a global health emergency. So what we see here is this is a global health emergency. The outbreak is unfolding amid unprecedented challenges. Now, they're not going into detail. I just went into detail about what these unprecedented challenges actually are. This region is a conflict region that represents a humanitarian crisis all on its own, without Ebola. All on its own. It's an unprecedented challenge. So they're just saying unprecedented challenge of rebel attacks and community resistance. in a region that has never experienced Ebola before. So this is a crisis in the making, folks. And it's a crisis that could and already has expanded past the borders of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And now it's in Uganda. Okay, so make it clear what we got going on. There is a strong possibility that these others and the family members here will be coming in, and they're being tested right now, and it's a very strong possibility because they've already, it says here, developed symptoms, but it doesn't say these symptoms are symptoms of Ebola. But I mean, they're going to be tested. The results will come in on Wednesday, and I'll keep you guys informed of the latest when I get the latest news on these other family members. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and I listen to all you guys' comments. Thank you for tuning into my channel. I'm going to be keeping the news coming on this story. This is a developing story. I'm going to be keeping the news coming in on this story until the crisis ends and they get this epidemic under control. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do the research for you guys. You know? Find out exactly what's going on and give you informative news. Timely news, too. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.